We are here in Clinton. You can see this is a very active scene. There are dozens of rescue workers, firefighters, police officers still on scene. Take a look. This bus is in absolutely terrible condition. I just spoke with the superintendent of Clinton County Schools. Well, check this out, Jim. We have a door here with some newly built reinforcement. This after it was shattered last night. Now the clerk has a message for the guys who did it. Nate just told you how fast those winds were blowing, and you can see it right now. This is a hold on to your hat situation. Look at the trees. Look at the flags. There's wind. There is water everywhere, and this water just adding to some of the conditions that we saw. Not only is it incredibly windy still, Nate and I are standing here up to our mid-calves in floodwater. Police say it all started here at the Logan's Roadhouse. You see plenty of activity right now. According to police, this family with the 4-year-old girl was trying to park their car when they heard gunshots. Now, if you want to follow me along here, that is when police say they drove to that Shell gas station across Crestwood Boulevard. We have some video, a closer look at that scene there. And after 100 years of service to the community, look at it. It is now a rundown detriment, and its future is still uncertain. I want to show you this very sweet little face here. This is Jace Broom. He just turned 1 year old. He is staying here at Children's Hospital, and if you ask his parents, this little life is one of many that this man, Kyle Mabry, helped change for the better. Students and teachers started getting sick over here in this half of the elementary school, and tests found dangerous species of mold and fungus, so everybody moved into this half of the building, cramming in here where they normally would just teach pre-K. Now the principal says the same thing is happening again. Sherry, it was such an emotional scene this afternoon behind these gates. This is where police say Tenarius Moore was arguing with his alleged killer moments before his death.
A part of me just left. I feel so empty and hurt.
Sherry Moore says she was at work when she got the call.
And they told me that my son had just got shot. When I got here, he was laying on the ground. I don't think he had passed as of yet, but a couple of moments later, he was covered with the yellow sheet, and that's when I was told that, sorry for my loss.
Cherie's son, Tenarius Moore, was 25 years old. She said he had 2 young children and a passion for rap music.
He was a very loving and kind person. He got along well with others.
But there is at least one person who police say didn't get along with Tenarius.
There's been some type of long-term feud between him and another gentleman in this area.
Lieutenant Sean Edwards says that gentleman shot Tenarius several times after an argument and ran away. But Edwards hopes he won't be on the run for long.
Several people actually saw what happened. So it's just a matter of time before the day out. Hopefully that person will be courageous enough to come forward, give us the information we need.
If you have any information that can lead Birmingham police to that shooter, give them a call. Their number 254-1700. Live in Birmingham, Jamie Ostroff, CBS 42 News, local coverage you can count on. Well, first, take a look at this. All 4 of those homes you mentioned, just like this one, gutted by flames. We're here on Avenue F. Now, thankfully, no one was hurt in any of these fires. However, Birmingham's fire investigators do not believe any of these were an accident. Hours after the flames were gone, Birmingham firefighters came back to Avenue L. A hot spot from this smoldering home spread next door, doing nothing to ease the frayed nerves in this community.
If somebody had been living here, they could have got one of them killed.
Some of the neighbors didn't want to go on camera.
It's just wrong, and I'm very upset about it.
All of them up before the sun Monday. They were roused by the sound of sirens as 4 homes burned within blocks.
And I saw the glare, the red glare from my window in my living room, and I got up, and when I looked out and saw that large fire, it just upset me so.
For those who've spent decades in this neighborhood, how long have you lived here?
Around 70 to 75 years.
The flames ruined more than just a roof and 4 walls. They ruined peace of mind.
We are not going to be safe until we do find out who's doing the damage right here.
The 4 fires from this morning, of course, just the latest in a string of arsons that have been plaguing Birmingham for the past few weeks. I did speak with Birmingham's fire chief. He and his investigators are on top of this, trying to figure out who are setting these fires and why they are setting them. We're going to hear from him coming up at 6 o'clock. This is Sydney Sellers. Her parents describe her as really the perfect daughter. She's athletic, smart, active in her church. She was even dating one of the popular boys at Pell City High. Well, Sydney's life was one her mother really admired and followed on Facebook. But as Mom later realized, Sydney was living a deeper, darker life online. December 7th, 2014 started as a good day for the Sellers family.
That day was her first day as an altar server. She had been through the training and we were very, very proud.
So proud that Jennifer decided to cook her daughter Sydney's favorite dinner that night.
Breast of turkey, all her favorite vegetables, Brussels sprouts. And she came out probably around 20 minutes before dinner was ready. Kind of bounced out of her room and said she was hungry and was going to cook pizza rolls.
Jennifer told her to wait just a few more minutes.
She said, no problem. Told her how much I loved her, and she went back in her room and shut the door.
That was the last thing Jennifer ever said to Sydney.
I went to get her up. I found her hanging from her bed. A whole lot of nothing. And a whole lot of internal shrieking. My brain just sort of went crazy. Both of us just sat there and thought, this just can't be possible. But it was.
Sydney always seemed so happy, but in the days after her death, Jennifer started receiving some disturbing clues about her daughter. Facebook messages from friends who said Sydney was being bullied in school and online.
Things that used to be a one-day thing when we were kids are not anymore. It's constant battery, emotional battery on another child. There's no way to stop it.
Even though Sydney didn't tell her parents what was going on, she did confide in someone else, someone Jennifer didn't even know existed until the Pell City Police Department returned Sydney's smartphone.
And when I charged it up, plugged it in, turned it on, it automatically opened up to a Kik page where there was a person who identified himself as a teenage boy on Kik, explaining to her how to hang herself. And he walked her through her suicide step by step. We're still looking for him. I feel partially to blame, not for what happened to her, but for not understanding what was going on in her life. She lived her life online.
And it wasn't just on Facebook or conventional social media. Jennifer quickly learned of the seemingly infinite buffet of apps like Kik that can connect harmful people to innocent children.
I don't think anybody in our family really understood the capability of evil and bad to seek you out by way of the internet.
Now, Jennifer calls it her personal crusade to make sure no other child suffers the same fate as Sydney. So I asked her, what does every parent need to know?
Your child doesn't need a smartphone. That's the first thing and the hardest thing that every family is going to have to battle out. If you can still have an argument with your child, you're blessed. If they can still slam the door in your face, you're blessed. I can't do any of that. It's worth the fight.
Yeah, Jim, this dog right here is Nico. He was just a year old when he died on Mother's Day. And over here, this is Odin. He's also a year old when his owners found him dead just 9 days later. Both of these dogs belong to next-door neighbors who now wonder if someone is responsible for this. Little reminders still remain behind the home where Nico and Panda played in the backyard.
They were always so cute, so sweet. It just breaks my heart.
This is what Nico looked like on Mother's Day when Katie Reed and her boyfriend found him sick.
He was not our Nico. He was not playful. He wasn't even breathing right. Like, my boyfriend had to pick him up. He wouldn't even walk to the car.
Reed rushed Nico to the emergency vet. They had to put him down.
I've had dogs get hit by cars, you know, just die of old age, but this is the worst feeling. Not knowing.
Nico's tests came back negative for parvo and parasites.
so Reed already had questions about his sudden illness. Then, just days later,
he just laid down and died.
Odin was the dog next door. His owner said he'd been looked over by a vet days before he died.
He wasn't even 2 years old yet. There was absolutely no indication that it would happen.
Now the neighbors have a theory.
Somehow something poisonous was given to both dogs.
Only adding to their suspicions, Panda also got sick, but he survived.
Panda doesn't eat a lot. He would only eat when we put his food out there and when we would watch him.
Now Pelham police are investigating.
Now we have a paper trail of these events occurring, and if it continues to occur, the police, they're able to use that information to try and track down somebody.
Now, Nico here was not tested for poison. Reed said she couldn't afford it, but she was able to rule out several different causes of death, like snake bites and toxic plants. Now, as for Odin, he was found dead, so he would have to be shipped to a lab in Auburn in order to be tested. This is a story we are going to be following and bringing you answers as we dig them up. Meanwhile, if you have any information that can help police with their investigation, call the Pelham Police Department. That number, 620-6550.